Welcome to the Criminal Law and Procedure Lecture Series. At the end of each slide, there will be a 10-second delay. Use this time to stop the lecture and take your notes. When you are done, push play to continue. This lecture will begin in 5 seconds. Welcome to Criminal Law and Procedure Lecture 1.1 on Analytical Thinking. My name is Matt Rossatini, and yeah, I said it, we're going to learn about criminal law and criminal procedure. How cool is that? I mean, we're going to learn about stuff in criminal law like murder and arson and burglary. We're going to learn about the insanity defense, riots, assault and battery. We're going to learn about larceny. We're even going to learn about cursing in public. Then, in criminal procedure, we're going to learn about warrant requirements and arrest procedures and the Fifth Amendment. We're going to learn about lineups, trial procedures, and plea bargains. We're going to learn about bribery and the death penalty. All of this stuff is really cool, but I got to ask you, why are we learning about these things? It doesn't matter if you're in high school or law school. There must be more to this than just learning about the law and procedure. Well, there is, and it has to do with thinking. So let me ask you this question. How does learning about these things make us better thinkers? That's what we're going to talk about in this lecture. And with that said, move on to the next slide. Students in the Legal Studies Academy at First Colonial High School are working to achieve a goal. That goal is to demonstrate learning and achievement via the completion of a capstone senior project. The question is, how did you go from being a 9th grade LSA student to becoming a 12th grade LSA student? To answer that question, I want you to imagine that you're a pilot. Not that type of pilot. Now that's a pilot. Imagine that you are the pilot of a plane taking off from an airport. You need to get to the runway and into the air. Once airborne, you need to fly to your destination. This is just like what you are doing as you progress through the Legal Studies Academy. What do I mean? In 9th grade, you learned how to taxi to the runway and line up for takeoff. You learned several new skills to do this, including how to read difficult passages with a critical eye towards understanding, write in a way that is concise, precise, and direct, solve legal problems related to many subjects. This included legal foundations, history, English, and science academy classes. You analyzed fundamental legal principles such as torts and contracts, and you analytically thought about broad concepts related to constitutional law. Now that we're lined up on the runway, where do we go from here? Go to the next slide. So, what else are we going to learn? In criminal law and procedure, you will accelerate and take off from the runway. This class helps you refine and master many of the skills that you learned last year so that once you are airborne, you can apply your skills next year and during your senior project to successfully reach your destination. In other words, I want you to feel more like Tom Cruise during your senior project and less like Samuel L. Jackson. Snakes on a plane? Not so much. But how are we going to achieve this goal? CLP will help you refine or master the following skills. Reading difficult passages with an analytical eye beyond understanding. Defending your position via analytically ordered writing. Thoroughly analyzing legal principles related to criminal law and procedure. And most importantly, using what you learned to think analytically at a higher level in order to successfully argue your position. What does that mean? Well, let's ask this guy. He said, as I explained last night on his honors Facebook wall, this class is where you learn to think like a lawyer. Go to the next slide. What does it mean to think like a lawyer? And how is that going to help you? Well, to answer these questions, we need to look at three types of thinking. The first type is problem solving. This is the process of working through details of a problem to reach a solution. Problem solving may include mathematical or systematic operation. Then we have analysis. This is the careful study of something to learn about its parts, what they do, and how they are related to each other. Or, in other words, it's an explanation of the nature and meaning of something. Finally, we have analytical thinking. This works systematically and logically to resolve problems, identify causation, and anticipate unexpected results. You manage issues by drawing on your own experience and knowledge, and you're also going to call on other resources as necessary. Go to the next slide. I don't know about you, but it might be hard to understand these definitions without looking at some concrete examples. So let's start with an example of problem solving. An example of problem solving is figuring out a math problem. For example, Harry has 3 oranges. He gives 2 oranges to Joe. How many oranges does Harry have left? We know the order we need to follow to solve this problem. 3 oranges minus 2 oranges. Harry has 1 orange left. But it's important that we follow the correct order or this happens. Harry has 3 oranges. He gives 2 oranges to Joe. The question is, what is the circumference of the sun? The answer is yes, because aliens don't wear purple hats. We need to follow the correct order or we'll never solve the problem. You learned how to solve a complex problem when you learned about trial procedure. You learned that you need to have opening statements plus witness testimony plus closing arguments to equal a jury or bench trial. And here's the thing, all of this needs to happen in this order to successfully complete a trial. Go to the next slide. Next, we look at an example of analysis, and to do that, we switch from math class to science class. In science class, an example of analysis is learning about what is a mammal. So, what makes us mammals? All mammals are chordates, we have hair or fur, we have mammary glands, we've got 4-chambered hearts, we're able to regulate our internal body temperature, 98.6 degrees for us humans, and we've all got lungs like Tommy Pipes McDonald. It's not like we need to use these things in a particular order to solve a problem. Instead, all of these things need to be present and working together for something to be considered a mammal. You analyzed a fundamental legal principle when you learned about negligence. You learned that you need a duty plus a breach of that duty plus proximate cause plus damages to equal a negligent tort. All of these things need to be present, and if one thing is missing, you cannot prove the negligence of a party. Go to the next slide. So, what makes analytical thinking different than problem solving and analysis? In other words, what does it really mean to think like an attorney? Let's look at our negligence analysis and apply it to the following fact pattern. Remember, we need to show a duty, a breach of duty, proximate cause, and damages to have a negligent tort. How do we use this information to our advantage? Hey, did you see what happened here? Yeah, that guy was driving really fast when he hit that car with a little old lady. Dude, why didn't she look both ways when she backed out of her driveway? Really? Did you see the road? Why was he driving that fast? At least everyone is okay. Yeah, but both cars are totaled. Now we have to see all of the different angles in here and figure out how they apply to our analysis about a negligent tort. We should be asking a ton of questions. What duty was owed by the parties? Who breached what duty? Who really caused the accident? What if both drivers caused the accident? And who pays for the damages? All of these questions involve analytical thinking. Can you take the analysis and use it to your advantage so that the answer to these questions works out in your favor? That's analytical thinking. Thank you for watching this lecture, and I look forward to seeing you in class.